Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. I'm reading Prowler, issue number 6. Now, this is going to be the final chapter in this particular comic. It was canceled, it seems, which it was really only in existence to show, I guess, why the Prowler clone wound up dying. The whole thing was about the Prowler clone. This is, for the most part, the first issue of the actual Prowler, besides the last one, which had him almost cameo, you know? I enjoyed the comic. All right, basically the whole comic was just him sitting down and talking to Peter and talking about different routes that he could take as a Prowler. One of them was as an old man, where he's still doing what he's doing and getting beaten up, but still moving on. And he's single, he's alone, he's got nothing. He's making peanut butter and strawberry jam sandwiches. That's how he's surviving, and watching the TV, watching the news, and seeing how Spider-Man and the rest of the Avengers are still getting, huge praise. And first time, for the most part, that I'm seeing the word Ironheart being used. They didn't really want to use that term, so I'm surprised that they used that in here. Riri Williams. Anyway, and some guy named Tyrannosaurus, not Rex, wasn't memorable enough to actually matter. But it was a very good comic in the sense that you got to see that he's not going to get credit. He's not going to get anything, and his life is not going to be fulfilled in that regard. We go on to another possible future of his where he goes back to being a criminal again because he needs the money. He needs to be able to support his own family. And he kidnaps a little girl, but it's a rich family, and he's not being, particularly rude to the girl. Like, he's trying to help her out, but it is still kidnapping. And Spider-Man shows up and causes an accident that Hobby winds up, for the most part, losing his right hand. Really wild stuff inside here, like the possible futures. And all of this is really just at a little sit down back in Parker Industries where they're going over his future, kind of with the company. And basically at the end, he decides, you know what, this just isn't for me. I'm just going to move on, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to spend some time with my family. And he still looks at the Prowler armor. He still wants to go out and do what he's doing, but maybe he's just going to slow it down a little. Maybe we'll see something with him in the future. In the interim, what I see for the Prowler is some kind of a storyline where he actually gets to be in a team, because by himself, the comic isn't selling, and that makes me sad because it's actually a good comic. It's written very well. Sean Ryan. This is, for a final chapter where you get to know in advance that it's going to end. I've seen TV series that they say, okay, you got one more episode, make it count. I've seen comics where they say you got one more issue, make it count. And they don't make it count. They leave it in a sense of, we'll never stop doing this. Well, Sean takes a completely different approach here, and he makes it so that, no, it is actually, for the most part, going to end, and it's a very good way to close this. Also, I want to give a shout to Jamal Campbell. Apparently, this was his first time writing the insides of a comic. He did not do a bad job at all. I could see where some parts were better than others. I believe he was the artist for most of the comic. Javier Saltares did the layouts for things, but there's some things that you can't do a layout for necessarily, and one of the parts was the rain. Now, if I'm right on this, because I didn't actually see the comic being made, but Jamal Campbell actually did a bang-up job drawing the Prowler in the rain. Like, it was believable. It was actually sad seeing the way that he was interacting in the rain. So yeah, I was very happy with this comic for being a last comic. I'm sad that it's ending. I did enjoy the comic a lot. I enjoyed seeing Hobie's character actually living out his life, trying to be relevant for the most part. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give this comic a B for bye because, yeah, I am actually really sad that it's going. Anyway, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.